Okay.
Okay. What I was thinking, are you going to put your headphones on?
I'll try, sir.
I think you should. Just so we're the same. We'll be like twins.
Oh, yeah.
Let me just make sure.
Obviously, I'm Arnie Schwarzenegger.
What the fuck? Are you going to sit back there?
Yeah. It's nice and chill.
All right. Well, I'll get the same distance away then. So no one can hear us.
You can hear a pin drop. I'm sure they can hear us.
We ready to go?
Yep.
Right. Intro ready. Welcome everybody to episode 11 of Tales from the Tackle Shop. And yeah, I was going to start this off with some kind of humour, but I'm humourless at the minute. But give me 2 minutes and I'll warm up.
Humourless.
Humourless. Did you actually go into our WhatsApp group with the guys from around the region? Have you looked at what happened?
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to tell a tale because Alex knows, and obviously Richard Chave
You know the saying, see all, know all, say now.
Yeah. So because we've been having this banter about the Arsenal shirts with all the fans, there was nothing for a little while, and then Tuesday night Arsenal were playing Luton.
Who?
Luton, the Hatters, which is, you need to know, they're called the Hatters.
Yes.
Hold on, let me move my chair. So I was recording some guy for the Lure Fishing podcast, and I got my timings wrong. He was going to start at 8 o'clock, and it's like, Arsenal, it's 8:15.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, I'll get everything ready.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I even got Prime ready downstairs on mute. And then the guy I was recording, it just took forever. He's a tech specialist.
Awesome.
But his tech didn't work doing the podcast.
So you had to do it again.
Every hour we hadn't started. So while he was farsing about with his tech, I've got the Arsenal game on my phone, listening to the Arsenal player. We're 1-0 up. And I'm thinking, oh well, I'll miss the game. There's no point watching it because we're going to thrash them 3 or 4-0. Anyway, I finished recording with this guy. I've come downstairs. It's 3-0. 80th minute. Mm-hmm. And I looked at my phone and I've got all these messages in this WhatsApp group from Richard Chave.
Quite a few people gang up on you now, don't they?
Steve Barnett.
Ben
Taylor.
Me.
You were very quiet, but there was one there, I think.
Yeah, I did.
Only Simon Mottram was actually quiet.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to put the pictures up here. So I've looked through the messages, and there's Chave with every time Luton scored, he had a hat on. Took a picture 3 times. So I'm there going, it's 3-0. Christ, we were 3-2 down at one point. Anyway, so I'm getting all this crap from them, loads and loads of hassle, and then of course Declan Rice baby, 96 minute nods in the winner. So of course I had to get my revenge, and I'll stick that little video here because that was quite funny.
Declan Rice with a last-minute winner.
All right, boys. Never in doubt. See you next week. Come on, the Gunners! So there's 2 things I'm going to come back to that. So then on Saturday, obviously, it didn't happen, did it?
No, it backfired.
Backfired, yeah, we lost. So obviously on Saturday night, the WhatsApp group was pinging again. I was getting loads of hassle from the boys. So, gentlemen, I'd just like to say thank you for that. Really appreciated it. But more importantly, I don't know these guys because they're people that you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's what makes the match fishing scene really fun.
The banter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
I've only known them through like messaging, them kindly doing the videos for us. But it shows that everyone's got a very similar mindset.
Yeah.
And they can just sort of, it's just giving it out.
Yeah.
They're taking it.
No one takes themselves seriously.
Yeah. And I it really made me smile this week. When I came downstairs on the Tuesday, it was brilliant. Mm. Even though we were drawing, and even though we'd lose on the Saturday, I just thought this is fantastic because I do give it out. So you just got to take it on the chin when it's going to backfire.
Yeah.
But I like the fact everyone just piles in.
I thought you'd turned into a Spurs fan the way you was giving it the big and we're top of the league and all this. I was like, hang on a minute, Andy. What were you saying about Spurs? They'd won the league in October.
Yeah, I was a bit too vocal. But I was a Newcastle fan on Sunday.
Yeah.
And you guys messed that one up. But, anyway, so keep them coming, Chave and co. It's good fun. I'll get my revenge when I actually meet you and the Winter League is on. Yeah. Or when you come down. Because obviously Chave, being Spursy, didn't get through. So Just thought I'd
Oh yeah, they're worried about their injuries and they only play one game a week, don't they? Spurs. They're not in Europe, are they?
Have they been knocked out?
They didn't even make it, did they?
Didn't they make it into Europa?
No, they didn't even make it in that conference thing either, did they?
Dear me.
Yeah.
No wonder. Anyway, we'll leave the football there.
Yeah.
Right. We're trying to find very relevant things to talk about, and Alex has come up with a bit of a classic that keeps rearing its head.
Yes.
Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, so I think I was on Facebook the other day and Dave Harrell was put a post up saying that he's meeting with the Angling Trust, Martin Salter, a few other anglers having a serious meeting about trying to get the close season abolished. Which I know everyone some people sit on the fence, some people are, yeah, let's get rid of it, we should be able to fish it all year round, and some people are like, well, no, I actually quite like a little break. And so we spoke about it, haven't we? And I've spoke to quite a lot of people, and to some people it isn't going to make any difference because they don't fish natural venues. But I think for me, I'm yes, I agree. Yeah, get rid of it. It's great, this and that. But on the other hand, I'm not sure. So I suppose I'm sat on the fence. Really, I'm one of those.
So, with your angler hat on,
Yeah.
where do you sit with it?
With the angler hat on, I think probably yes, I would like to fish more rivers, but for me, the close season sort of takes shape and being on a commercial and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people do like the fact that there's a break. A lot of people can get on and do stuff and perhaps try commercial fishing. Some people are dead against commercial fishing and, each to their own. But I don't know, I just think maybe the close season like we've had this year, well, the season we've had this year, there's most of the rivers are out of sorts, so you can't fish them, can you? And that's where having a non-close season, you're going to be able to fish when the river should be in perfect condition. But on the other hand, the species and fish we're fishing for maybe aren't going to be feeding at that time of year.
So this is interesting. So you started talking about commercials. So obviously, with Rookery hat on,
Yeah.
you want more people to come through the gate.
Yes.
Yes. Actually, would a close season diminish the amount of money a commercial makes?
I would think it would. Yes, it would have an effect, definitely.
So, from a fishery owner's point of view, it'd be more advantageous.
Normally, what happens is the season finishes, and then you've got a few anglers carry on and fish like the Census Challenge final, because that's a big competition in the match calendar, which is sort of end of March, first week in April, and then you sort of, how can I put it? You have a nice steady attendances, the same sort of die-hard commercial anglers, an odd angler that has to go fishing every week, so they'll start fishing the open matches. But then normally about a month later, the attendances go right up. It coincides with the weather and the fact that people have had 4 weeks where they've not been on a river. They've done all the jobs and they're just like chomping at the bit to get out fishing. And that's normally what happens. I can understand the fact that, especially around here, the drains are man-made, so you should be allowed to fish them all year round anyway. For the same reasons you can fish commercials and canals. So
that's an argument I hadn't thought of.
yes.
Yeah.
So
just checking that's not Chris Hodson.
Oh right. Okay.
That's why I keep checking.
Yeah. And I don't know. And then on Sensible Hat, the fish at March and the venues we fish back end of the season get obviously an absolute hammering. And we're very fortunate that they don't really get affected by the rain and such forth. So it's what might be good in this area is not good in other areas, because obviously they rely the Severn and the Trent. I mean, you can't get on the Trent at the minute. Can't get on the Severn. The just amount of rain we've had is unbelievable. So for those guys, they're probably banging up for getting rid of it. They can have a longer season on the river. So I don't know. At the minute, I'm happy for it to be as it stands for this area. I don't know about you, what you feel with your predator fishing head on.
Well, I think in this country we have limited natural resources.
Yeah.
Therefore, we need to protect them.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from with this.
Yeah.
So I hear really daft people saying the pike have already spawned. No, they haven't.
No.
So on these drains, a lot of the time, I've only ever seen it happen once in the end of the open season.
Yeah.
And I haven't ever seen pike spawning while I've been fishing.
Yeah.
Because it's all weather dependent. There's light values and so forth. They still seem to spawn in that April period.
Yeah.
I don't care anyone says I've seen it once.
Yeah.
I've been out every season. I'm out there looking. So I actually think from a pike perspective, it's good to have a break. Also, people are selfish. So when fish spawn, they congregate.
Mm-hmm.
People, by their selfish nature, there's no point fishing 300 yards away during the spawning season because you're going to catch nothing.
Well, it's the same
because they're in one area.
fishing in general, isn't
But
it?
out there at the minute, you can catch on different parts. But when they start spawning by the willow roots, the rudd that come outside my house, it is biblical.
Yeah.
They need to be left alone.
Yeah.
So they can just go on and spawn. They're not going to be. They feed hard beforehand. They're going to spawn hard, and then obviously they're going to be at their weakest, and they need to be allowed to recover. That's not the rudd. That's any fish.
Yeah.
So to allow fishing during that period to me is just crazy. Now, some coarse fish do spawn June. It does seem to.
Yeah.
Because we catch bream with spawning tubicles on. So this isn't the March the 15th to June the 15th inclusive. Doesn't encapsulate all the fish that are spawning. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And of course, in Yorkshire, it used to be the close season from March the 1st to June the 1st, didn't it? Or it was it was different in Yorkshire. And it's like, how can it be different in Yorkshire than it is the rest of the country?
Yeah.
So in my mind, you're never going to get it perfect, and you can't have one size fits all.
Yeah.
But you can have a general size fits all. And for the predator anglers, other waters open up. So the resis open up in May.
Yeah.
So if people want to go, which is again a bit, they've got to be careful because they're opening up earlier and earlier because they want money. But again, they're putting the predators at risk because they're still spawn bound. So they're actually opening up too early, in my opinion. But they do open up in May. Obviously, there's all sorts of fishing still available to people. And also, it's good to have a break for the family, isn't it?
Yeah.
So from a family perspective and getting your work-life balance correct, I think having the close season in place gives anglers a natural break and it allows you to kind of reset. And I just think if we open it up, it's going to cause all sorts of hassle. And also, it helps spot people up to no good.
Yes.
So at the fens, that time of year, it's really obvious to see if someone's laying a net because that's when it tends to happen because it's easier to catch the fish because they're moving to spawning grounds.
Yeah.
So when people are out in the banks, the general public are now very aware that if someone's out and about, it's the close season, what are they up to?
Yeah.
So I think the close season is a good thing in my opinion. I can't see how changing it is going to benefit much. I can't actually see what the benefits are, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
I just think it's people who are being selfish because they want more.
I think maybe people would like to have sort of the position to fish if they wanted to in that period. Like, is there any way you could have, like, around here, for example, you could say, right, well, no, we're going to have 2 months break instead of having whatever we have. Just have, and each area has their own rules because nowadays, I know there's a close season, not close season, but social media and everyone knows what's going on here, there, and everywhere.
But who's going to enforce that? There's no police out there, is there? The EA, we've got one enforcement officer.
Yeah.
He can't enforce it. In Sweden, on the Baltic, there's areas where they know there's a mass migration of fish to spawn. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, they close it off. So it's not fixed.
Yeah.
Like you were just saying. However, their equivalent of the Environment Agency are shit hot.
Yeah.
Like they are in America.
Yeah.
They don't mess about. There's lots of them. And if people are caught, it's huge fines. Whereas over here, if you have no fixed abode, you don't even get a ticket. It's like crazy. Yeah. So I understand what you're saying and the kind of the logistics behind it.
Yeah.
The problem is if there's no one to police it, then there's no point having it in the first place. I can't actually see what's wrong with what's happening now, because at the end of the day, if you still want to go fishing, you can go somewhere.
I suppose but a lot of people, the sort of natural river anglers are sort of like, well,
It's always
half
been
the year we can't fish because it's flooded, and then when we can fish it, you can't fish anyway.
Yeah, but they've got to let the fish have a break.
Yeah, yeah,
Fish get battered, don't they? Get
Yeah.
bad in keep nets. They get bad
Yeah.
getting caught. They got to have a break. It's like, you know, when you got fish spawning at the commercial, you shut that lake down, don't you?
to a certain extent. Yeah,
Where you can,
yeah.
but it's
You sort of manage it as
Manage
best you
it.
can. Yeah,
the problem is if you've got the environment, trying to manage people's a nightmare, because like I said, people are just bloody selfish. Anyway, that's what I think. I'm not right.
yeah.
I hope they don't try and open it up, because I really can't see, just for the sake of a few guys who go match fishing on rivers.
Maybe.
You think those fish in floodwater now, they don't want to be in floodwater, do they? They're going to be in marinas and slacks.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah, it must be I think we have to be careful. It's okay in places like Sweden and America where they've got an abundance of natural resource. But you think of the population we have in this country and how crap state the rivers are in as it is with the pollution. I think they should be concentrating on that. Fighting the pollution would be far better use of energy than the close season, because the close season is going to be immaterial if the water quality is really poor. So that's why I get frustrated with these organisations. Do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a good one that you brought it up. Talking of commercials, I noticed that it was bitterly cold last week, but you had a huge match weight at
We
Rookery.
did, yeah. Yeah, I think that just sums up winter commercial fishing for F1s and carp.
Was it £300?
£314.
Good God.
Yeah.
So which lake was that from?
That was from Raven Peg 11. So the day before that won the lake with £118. We've seen some big weights in the winter, but not as big as that. That was phenomenal. So Danny Clark, he had like £70 after an hour. And normally you'd expect the fish to back away or just disappear, when they've had a bit of pressure. And then he's just caught all day, £314. I think second on the lake was £114 the other end. Pretty much dobbing on bread or maggots.
Well, I tell you, it would be quite a cool thing to do, and we haven't set this up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's to look at how you would approach a commercial in the winter.
Yeah.
So,
Well, obviously, there's loads of different commercials. Some are massive, some are canal shaped, some are islands, some open water. The same thing, obviously, for example, the lakes at ours, they're smaller commercials, so you've normally got a feature. And the last sort of 6 to 10 years, what we call dobbing has sort of taken over. Once the daylight hours are like the shortest day of the year, the fish get tighter and tighter and tighter. You get frosts, and the fish just sit in little shoals here, there, and everywhere.
why
Or in
do
case
you
of
think they do that?
safety, same reason why the roach migrate into March. They just find areas in the lake that they like, for whatever reason. You can go to venues like Decoy on the new channels, and there's a like hide in the mid between Oak and U, and ever since it opened, every winter, the fish, if you drew a line across all the new channels where the hide is, the shoal in each of the lakes, there's a massive shoal of fish, and that's normally, if you're on that line, you're going to be there or thereabouts to win the match. Yet, all it is this one little hide, nothing else, but that's where they sit on all the lakes. Why? We don't know. Same as on Raven, it's a corner peg. The wind comes from both directions. It's not always out the wind. Normally the wind's coming from your right into the corner. Peg 36 on Magpie can be phenomenal. When the lilies sort of are dying off, they tend to just push into there. But like the last 3 years, peg 33, 34, which is on an end of an island with an island here. Again, massive shoals of fish. And it's mad.
It's mad, isn't it?
That's why you get the saying aquatic bingo.
Yeah.
But you still have to do it properly.
I was going to say, so am I right in thinking with dobbing, they're not actually feeding?
No. So a lot of the commercial lads, especially at our place now, they will not feed anything until they feel like there's some fish feeding, or the water temperature's on the rise, or the light drops, little changes like that in the conditions, and they might think about feeding. But a lot of the time they'll start. Sometimes visually you can see the fish, so that's a great starter. And then a lot of the time you've got a sort of experience of anglers catching fish in places. So speaking to the locals, and they're, I've caught catch normally here, mate, or over there, or don't bother going. And normally you're looking for cover. I mean, the top commercial lads are unbelievable at it. People say, oh, they just draw their tits off and all stuff like that. You have got to draw bunghole, but these guys can catch dobbing anywhere, even in open water. They'll find a little shoal of fish. And I mean, I'm not that experienced at that side of fishing, but there's plenty of, information online. Some of the top anglers dragging plummets around, just feeling for fish, and amazing stuff, really. But if you're not got your hook bait where the carp are in the winter, you're not going to catch them. In the summer, the more you feed, sometimes the more fish come in. They're looking for food. In the winter, it's the opposite way around. Where you feed, they normally back away from until, it's dark or whatever, and they'll come back and feed the last hour. F1's typical. You could be feeding a line short with maggots, not catch nothing, and the last hour they just rock up and there's one a bung. And it's like, it is mad. They feed a bit like roach. If you'd expect the last hour the bigger roach to feed as that the light reel gets dark, and it's the same with F1. So those sort of principles you have to bear in mind. But normally you'd start to a feature, depending on the depth of the water and the colour of the water. The clearer it is, the more dobbing comes into play. Obviously a visual aspect. So you'd normally plumb where you're fishing. A lot of the time you want sort of decent depth, tight over to cover, so fish can get tucked in. Most of the commercials are really undercut. So even though you think you're fishing tight to the bank, there's probably 30 fish sat in the bank.
Wow.
Well, you see, didn't you, when we netted magpie?
When you lower the level, it's crazy.
You sat there fishing out there, and there's probably 6 carp sat underneath where you're sat.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Normally start with bread, and venues that don't allow bread, they'll fish maggots normally. Double maggot, single dead maggot, something that sinks very slow. Normally move your shot up a bit higher, so you've got that natural-ish fall rather than a dunk straight down, unless there's a million fish in your peg, and the same old saying, if you want it down to that depth to catch quicker. Normally they'll start sort of, 4 to 6 inches off the bottom and just literally just dob it into place, leave it for a minute, looking for line bites, looking for fish moving, topping fish, or fish being spooked by birds flying, or just watercraft, basically.
Yeah.
And then obviously going up or down. I mean, sometimes, like particular on Magpie 33, it's sort of quite a deep part. You can't see no fish normally, but they catch like this deep on a bit of bread.
Crazy.
It is amazing, but the key thing is sort of managing your peg in a way, so you're not sort of plundering one hole. Sometimes you can do that, like obviously Danny found a great big shoal of him, and I would think he's just fished one hole all day and just like easiest.
How many fish were there?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
So you've brought some rigs. Are these rigs that you can use?
These are just off the shelf, so standard commercial rigs. These are just your Preston Wide-Gate maggots. So normally you could use, if you said a uni rig, you could use probably one of these for everything commercial wise. What's that main line on that one? So main line is 015 and 013 power line, which is absolutely plenty strong enough. Some of them will go a bit lighter, but for commercials like rookery and you're fishing near snags, you do want a fairly decent hook length for no 13 power lines. You know, you're going to get some
What
big
float
fish.
they got on there?
So these are the Preston F1 maggots. It's a hollow bristle, carbon stem.
Because you sell a lot of those Preston pole floats.
We do,
don't you?
yeah. They're very popular.
Yeah.
The commercial range is bang on, really. Everything they do is pretty spot
So
on.
basically, I mean, this is quite easy for guys to get into because they can just
Yeah,
use
even
the
if
pole.
even if you've not done much commercial fishing, you could just buy these off the shelf and away we go. But so normally you start your match off with obviously not feeding nothing, and then you might feel that there's a few fish in your peg feeding, so you might want to drop some bait in somewhere. And normally, 9 times out of 10, maggots are probably the way to go. Sometimes pellets, but at rookery, maggots are a very good bait. You can see on this one here, it's a fairly decent hook, that's a 16 hook, which is bang on if you're going to be fishing.
Hold on.
Might need to trim that tag a bit there, but that's not my hook.
Keep it still. This phone's not focusing. Put your hand behind it, mate.
So
It's a 16.
16's about the right size hook. Obviously, super LWGs, B911s,
Cool.
GPMBs. There's tons and tons of hooks for sort of commercial carping. You could use them all year round. I mean, that's straight out of the packet, so I haven't adjusted that. That's the sort of shotting pattern if you were fishing maggots, or you'd probably just string. You see that there?
So you just got.
That's just a bulk and 2 droppers, exactly how it comes on the ready rig. You could probably just string them out a little bit
Keep it still.
for your maggots.
No, it's not focused on the shot. I'll just
No.
put my hand behind. No, it's not going to do it. So we've got a shot there.
Yeah, so you've got 2 droppers and a bulk
droppers,
pair of stots. Obviously,
Why are they using stots on them?
because it's easier. A lot of anglers, commercial anglers, like stots. Again, each to their own. I'm not a stot fan, but say that was your maggot fishing for maggots. If you're fishing bread in fair depth, you probably move your bulk up a bit higher, just so that you've got more of a slow fall for that bread to sort of waft. I mean, normally they're fishing 6 or 8 mil bread punch.
So basically, it moves all the bulk up to there.
Yeah,
drop
moved it
down
up.
there.
Yeah,
There's a dropper there.
yeah.
I see. So it just falls.
So basically, you're just lifting and dropping.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not set to the whatever depth, but you just lift and drop in, hold the rig out, and then drop it in nice and slowly, so that bread just wafts round, and it just little dunk, harp on.
The quality of handmade, ready-tied rigs is pretty good, isn't it?
It is, yeah, unbelievable. What are these? $4.99, $4.50.
Hold on a minute. So you get the float, the winder.
Winder and the rig for $4.50. Well, just a float on its own is £2.20. Amazing, isn't it?
How do they make any money?
Well, they obviously do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
that's
the rig is £2.30.
very simple. Sorry,
You're paying £2.30. Take the float off.
yeah,
In my head, I just took the.
yeah,
It's about £2.30 for the hook, the line, the shot.
yeah.
It's like that's a bit of a bargain, isn't it?
It is.
I know it's not
really.
£2.30 overall, but you know.
Yeah,
what
I
I'm saying.
mean,
I
you
broke
can
it
see
down.
why commercial anglers. It's so easy. You don't need millions and millions of rigs.
Hey, shouldn't Josh Pace be having some of these
He's probably already got some in his
rather than
box,
making his own on the bank and they take forever?
Yeah.
Have you heard from him lately?
No,
He's not been fishing,
no. I think he's been pipe fishing.
has he? Good
Yeah.
boy.
Converted him.
I'll have to message him. I haven't spoken to him for a little while.
So that's just a basic rig. You can fish pellets on that. You can fish maggots, bread, corn, casters, whatever. But it's really simple fishing this time of year. I mean, if you was in an area where it's a bit wider, you're chucking a straight lead with bread on and just looking for line bites, looking for fish moving.
Long tail, just letting it.
No, just sort of a decentish tail because obviously they're not moving as much, so you want to hook them.
Right.
But just location is everything with winter commercials. And then the last hour, you might be feeding maggots short for these F1s, or you might start tapping a few pellets or maggots in and see what response you catch. But
If you're using a feeder or a bomb, I suppose you could even check if you're getting line bites. So that
line bites,
on that line
everything,
somewhere.
timing your bites, it's another.
So even if they're not on your hook bait, they might be halfway back. You know that line somewhere there's fish.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's quite ingenious, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and more commercial fishing is going down that way. It's a bit different when you've got venues just dominated by F1s, where it's a bit different. You can feed a bit of bait, but even the same, the colder it is, the less chance they're going to feed.
Yeah.
Till the last hour. So you have like an hour match where you can feed some bait and get a response. But it's people think commercial fishing is just commercial fishing, mud pigs and all stuff like that. But the skill levels is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of good. What else have you brought in? Because you've got some. You brought some goodies.
Yeah, so just bread punches, which for the bread dobbing. I think that's probably your best set, really. That's the 6, 8 and 10mm matrix compression punch set.
So that's the size.
You can use that for meat and bread, but again, if you're sitting there for one bite, just a big cube of luncheon meat on a straight lead.
Right. Even in the winter?
Yeah.
Will the fat come off the luncheon meat?
Yeah, they're just one cube of
What's
meat.
the guru ones you got there, buddy?
The guru ones, you get 6, 8, 10 and 12mm, similar sort of thing, bread or meat punch.
That's 12mm quite big, I suppose.
Yeah, you can use a 12mm, no problem. And then obviously, done that one, sorry. The just normal bread punches, which most people use.
Oh, right, cool.
So
that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Fishing
it
in the
is,
winter
yeah.
Commercials.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Draw on a bunghole and don't feed a lot of bait unless you feel there's a few fish there feeding. So,
Straightforward.
pretty much. So even in the middle of winter, you can have an unbelievable day. And that's why, people go into a commercial in the winter. There's no good just going, oh, that looks a good peg. So 8 times out of 10, you might think, yeah, that looks good. And it is good. But, do your homework, look at the match results, see where the matches are being won from, because, like what you were saying, you got to sit where the fish are. There's no good sat peg 5 and peg 3's where all the fish are coming out, because chances are when it gets cold, they're not going to move.
Do some of the pleasure anglers, are they clued up? Do they know this?
Yes, a lot do, but a lot of them just sit for comfort. And it's sort of, do you sit for comfort, or do you sit and do you want to catch fish? So that's the other thing you got to decide, isn't it?
I can imagine some people sitting out the wind.
Yeah, sit in a corner.
Yeah.
There's like 5 people either side of them, and they wonder why they don't catch anything in winter.
Yeah.
Fish go, see ya, I'm going down the other end of the lake.
Yeah. No, I get it. That's pretty cool. Oh, thanks for that. That was good. Right, so should we get on to the match results?
Yeah, there ain't many this week, to be honest.
That's what my phone was going for. I think, is that Chris Hodson?
Was it?
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
No. So I think Spilsby must have got flooded out.
I think they did. I did see some pictures on their Facebook or someone's Facebook, and the water was over the platform. So,
So I imagine with his lack of a message, they must have not had a match. Yeah. So what else have we got?
So there isn't a lot. Obviously, the main the biggest match was the Peterborough and District match on the Welland, the Fur and Feather. That went really well. So it looked a real good match. Fantastic prizes and stuff.
Our newfound friend came third.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan. Well done, mate. Match winner was Alistair Ogilvie. Dyer Tackle and Baits, £24.6. Spoke to Ali, and he sort of said it's heavily coloured. There's a few fish about, but they were harder to catch. A lot harder. Normally, it's like when you're on them there, you can go, it's dog shit and get them. But we found how tricky it was when we went, and he seemed to get the impression there wasn't loads of fish there. There's a few of them with hook marks, and this shoal was, obviously the resident shoal was moving up and down, and he had a nice day. Caught a few on bread and a few on ground bait pinkies. So run-up was Louis Theroux, Meansy. He's always on a flyer. 18-14, and then Dan Lewandowski. I'm sure that's how we pronounce it, is it?
Well, I keep thinking of who's the striker?
Lewandowski.
Plays for Barcelona.
Lewandowski.
Yeah. That's his brother.
Yeah. And then I bet he wishes it is his brother. £17.4. They was all opposite the poacher, and I think Meansy was on bunghole tax office.
So where was the poacher compared to where
Right, so you know where we sat?
Yeah.
And you had the 4 lads sat on that concrete there. That's what they call tax office. Well, further along, you know when you walked along that path, the fishing goes on the opposite bank.
Right.
That's the opposite the poacher. So the poacher's on your right as you
was the
walked
pub on
into
the
town.
corner?
Yes.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of the area. So well done, guys. There's a bit of a match at Benwick. Now these weights are very, very impressive, to be honest. It was coloured, bit of flow. There wasn't loads, so they just fished the low numbers. And Dave Lee, Mr. Hemp himself, £36 dead of roach.
At Benwick.
Benwick. That's the biggest roach weight I've seen at Benwick. I can't see it. I
Where
can't
was
think of
he?
any. Peg 3 or 4 or 2. Peg 2 maybe. So phenomenal weight that is. Runner-up was G-Wag himself. Good to see Graham catch some fish because he was on suicide watch after drawing next to me twice.
I was going to say his floats weren't working for a couple of weeks.
Poor old Graham. £34 8. I'm not 100% sure whether that was big fish or what, but that's still a good weight of whatever it is. And then there was Andy Levers at £26 dead, and then Lee Lawrence £25 too.
That's mad because that's a lot of fish, isn't it?
It is there, yeah. I see some pictures of John Taylor who nearly got chip shopped again, yeah, he had £22 for nowhere, absolutely nowhere. So yeah,
Have
interesting.
a lot of fish moved in, or was it?
Well, that's the thing. Have the fish from elsewhere moved in or what? But
Yeah.
the fish they caught were all good stamp, and the matches we've been having, no one's caught them fish.
They must have come in from somewhere else.
Maybe. Moving on to the Ramsey and District AC match.
I can see a Bates down there.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Bates. They were meant to be at Factory Bank, but obviously because of the water, that's unfishable. That's absolutely raging through, and the banks were bad. So they went to, guess where?
Out here?
Ramsey St Mary's.
Oh, God. Why
For
did
a
I-
change.
Oh, like homing pigeons to get
They
caught.
are. So Keith, don't shirsh your teeth was the match winner of 5-10. Ian Farrow 5-3. Tim Bates, Bungalow Bates. So whenever you see a Bates,
He draws some good ones, doesn't he?
he's had a few good pegs lately. £4.11, and then Ray Ellerton £4.6, and I think Cheesy Bob had £4.3. So not big weights, but fair.
Yeah.
You know, someone's got to win, whether it's with 12
I
ounces.
can't go for
or
Benwick.
£12. Big weights, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got the Wintersea Saturday boys. They was at the Carrot Wash, which is Glassmore, so I can imagine that being orange and running and yeah. Match winner was Gary Burton, so that's 2 on the bounce for Gary. He had a bream in his catch, 7.13. He was peg away from the bridge, which seems to be, if you're going to catch big fish, that's where you want to be. Runner-up was Derek Yates, £4.3. Mark Barron, 3.14. He slipped a bit. He's normally second.
Yes, he is.
And I think even John Taylor might have sneaked a fourth there. 5 billion fish for 111.8.
I think there's more than one John Taylor.
No, there's only one John
Because
Taylor. No, there is 2.
He seems to be fishing the same matches on the same day. He's everywhere. It's like, he's there.
It's his magic beard, isn't it? He taps it like that, and he's at Benwick. Taps it like that, it's £60 at March. Taps it like that, and he's Whilsey Dyke with 111.8.
Does he actually watch the podcast?
Nah.
No. He tells me, because, I hear I've had a bit of a hassle this week.
Every week.
Every week, yeah.
And then the Tuesday club, they were meant to be Raveley. That was cancelled because Raveley was...
That'd be orange as well, wouldn't it?
Can you imagine what that looked like? So they moved to Ramsey St Mary's. Peter Bellamy, 4.4. Mike Mohan, £4. And then I think it's Tony King, I think, £2.5. So not big weights again. So St Mary's is normally about now, it has a lull, but then it kicks into gear. I mean, a few weeks ago, they were sort of 17, 18 pound weights, but very odd, very odd. And that's it, what I've got this week, to be honest.
I have nothing. I feel left out. But before we go on to chip shopping,
Yes.
we must not forget.
No. We saved it for this week, didn't we?
Yeah, obviously, we just need to mention, because the thumbnail was Steve Winters.
Yeah.
Because that's still an amazing achievement, isn't it?
It is, yeah,
So
it's good,
It's been a couple of weeks now, so has that kind of filtered through the match fishing?
Yeah,
circuit?
it has. Loads of people have congratulated the teams, well done, so that's good. People have obviously seen posts and things. I think Steve's done something with Drennan, so...
Has he?
Yeah, because obviously he works for Drennan. He's done a little video, so I'm sure that'll be worth a watch. And yeah, to do 6 on the trot, I think only a couple of anglers in any winter league's only ever done that.
That's madness, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah, very, very well done.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Right, we need to drop in. I think we're going to get something from Simon Mottram, which
Right.
is one of the. Is the Isaac? I was looking at my phone.
Isaac Walton, yeah.
That's it. I'll send the Isaac Walton League next week. So hopefully that arrives. I'm sure it will.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go straight to Simon now.
Oh, hi. Just covering the last of the Warwickshire Winter League results. We had the last round, and it was on the Trenton Mersey Canal at Rugeley. Interesting how this would fish, actually, because my route at work, that's based in Rugeley, and I'm always going over the canal and seeing it, and it hardly ever gets fished. I noticed all week it looked nice colour in it and that and stuff, and it was warm. So, and it's fished really, really well. Not seeing what areas won or anything, but the framing weights were superb. First on the day, we've had Dave Clayton. He fishes for Drennan Leicester, sorry. He's had £22.010, all roach on bread, which is absolutely fantastic. Second, Ant South, he's had a load of big perch, fishes for 3 counties, Ant does, and he's had 18.4, all big perch, another cracking letter fish. Third, Pez Fellas, ex-Rugeley Butcher, retired now, I believe, Sparks, he's had 17.710, all roach on caster and bread, another great net of fish. Fourth, Ben Sherratt, Cadence Super Team. He's had another good match. I've been looking at the results. He's had a good league, to be fair, as he normally does. Cracking angler, Ben. He's had 15.86. He's had 6 bream early, I think. And then he's topped it up with some roach and perch. Andy Beasley, he's been next. Cadence Super Team again, 13.28. And finishing off the frame, Canal Legend, my hero, still my hero, Dave Berrers. He's at 11.68. I used to have a picture of me on my wall, Dave, to be fair, when I was a kid. And I went and watched him. He was actually a Sulstar pole qualifier at Grunley They used to have close season matches. He was my absolute hero. My mum had dropped me off, and one of the blokes who knew him asked if it was all right if I watched him. And he says, you can, as long as you carry that net bag to me peg youth, he said. So I carried carried Dave's carryall to his peg for me, and he let me watch him for the whole match, which was brilliant. He's had 11.68. So teams on the day, Cadence have won again, 19 points. Browning Central, 22 points. Here we got on there. Sparks, they had 22 as well, but they lost back on section count back. Drennan Leicester, 26, and 3 counties, 31. So the most important bit was the league ending up, because it was who was going to go through to the final at Decoy in the Drains. Cadence had already won. They had 8 penalty points in the league, so well done to them. Browning Central, I would imagine they'll be really pleased. They come second in the league, so they've qualified for the Drains and the Decoy. Not sure if they've been in the final before, but I'm sure they're buzzing about that. So they've had 15 points, second in the league. Just missing out, Drennan Leicester, 18 points. Next, Sparks, 21, and 3 counties, 28 points. So I've been keeping an eye on the league, to be honest, and there's been a lot of fish caught on some of the matches. So well done to Cadence and well done to Browning Central for getting through. Got friends in both of those teams, so they'll be pleased to getting through to the final. So all that needs to be said is over and out, Chave, and next week we're reporting on the last Stafford Isaac Walton League at Stafford. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, over and out. See ya.
Leaves us to do one thing, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, chip shop.
I forgot, didn't I? We had lines.
Don't worry, I've been getting shit all week because you forgot.
Well, we actually no, because Ray Malley actually got it.
Yeah, Ray Malley was the main one.
Did you get a picture?
No, because I haven't seen him.
Oh, he's hiding.
No, he's not. I haven't fished. Well, I've been here, there, and everywhere this week. I've spent most of my day on the A1 on Wednesday. Where was it? I was St Albans. Went to a lovely venue called Albans Lakes at St Albans.
Is that why it's called Albans Lake?
Might well be.
Lakes.
Yeah.
Was it a Silvers comp?
It was a bit of everything. It was, I've been meaning to go for a little while, and it took me a long time to get there because of the traffic.
Yeah, I bet.
I was like, as they were doing the rules and regulations at the draw, I'd literally pulled out my van into the queue, which was a bit embarrassing. But I had a nice day. I'll definitely go back if it weren't for the traffic. I had £57. I had a lovely day. Yeah, something different, just a change, just chucking a feeder out, like 45 metres, and yeah, it's beautiful. It was nice. Just sit there. First time I had a new Preston flask. I was like, oh, this is great. I had my heated gilet on, and I thought, you see why people do this sort of fishing,
Yeah. Yeah.
Normally I'm burning carbon, like, the steam's coming off your pole, you're in and out that quick.
Also, not being at Rookery helps.
Oh, yeah, being away, it's, it's a match.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for a match to go in the week if I can this time of year. There's nothing on, but, so I had a lovely day.
Will there be more down there?
I think Graham's got one this Saturday on the 23rd. He runs some good matches on there. There's a Feeder Masters on there, and it's a great venue. Really good. We've got nothing like that around here.
You might go back?
I will definitely go back at some point. It took me 3 hours to get home.
Oh, that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 hours.
It's only 80 miles, but it took 3 hours because of the traffic.
Sometimes I actually just stay 2 or 3 hours in a pub or something, just have some food.
Yeah.
Because there's no point rushing, is there?
No.
It's craziness.
No.
Right, anyway.
But yeah, going back to, we haven't seen Ray, so soon as I'll see him this Sunday at the March match, so he'll definitely be getting his t-shirt.
I have to mention. Do you want to mention that now or at the end?
What's that?
It's Christmas Open.
Well, yeah, it's the March Christmas Open, biggest match of the year.
It's your favourite match of the year, isn't it?
It is my favourite match of the year, yeah. I just think that, I don't know, it epitomises to me what match fishing is all about. The fact that people travel in all sorts of weather. It very rarely gets cancelled. Obviously, the venue helps, being March, full of fish. But Bob puts it's a fantastic match, with his cheeses, and there's all sorts. It's just a right laugh. Everyone comes back because of the raffle as well, and people are still in the pub an hour, 2 hours after, enjoying it, which is, for me, is what match fishing is all about.
What do you think is going to happen? What conditions the river going to be?
I think the river will be absolutely sock on. I cannot not see it not being sock on. I think
We've got a bit of rain tomorrow morning,
yeah,
and I think we've got Wednesday's a little bit damp, but Thursday, Friday looks really good.
yeah. Not loads of rain, but it's not going cold either. That's the key.
Yeah, a mild spell, yeah. Wet and mild.
I think there'll be some big weights.
Where's your fancied areas?
Well, we normally put Pig Market Corner and that in for the Christmas
That
match.
could be good, couldn't it?
That could be Quinto Crane hire. Could be like 2 keep net job if someone draws that. I think it could be an absolute boatload of fish, and it'll be roach, and there'll be a few like them pommy hybrid things, and they've definitely grown. Fancy that. Anywhere beyond the swimming pool would be amazing.
Yeah.
Any peg from basically the health centre bridge up to the disabled pegs, a peg with a bit of room, and you've got a chance of catching a big weight of fish.
So the culvert's obviously a hot spot.
Culvert,
Pig corner.
Pig Market
Pig
Corner,
Market Corner.
any
Behind
peg,
the bandstand,
behind the bandstand. It'll be a good match.
Yeah, yeah.
I think last year, who won this match last year? Oh yeah, this match last year got cancelled because it was frozen solid. So
along with cheese, you threw things in.
that's the one.
Was that a year ago?
That's a year ago.
Wow.
I know, it's unbelievable. So I tell you who will be on a bunghole, but we'll come on to him in a minute. Yeah, it got cancelled, so they run it between Christmas and New Year on the Wednesday, and it's still like 70 pegger. And Danny Mason won it, peg 1, which he had 50 odd pound, which is a phenomenal weight. You can't give an angler like that, as good he is, on a end peg. He had 50. I think he had 51 or 52 pound. Then there was someone. I think there was another. There's a 40 pound somewhere. I think I might have been third or fourth. I got in with 38 pound, and I was peg 6 or 7, which you wouldn't normally expect to catch those sort of weights from there. But the stamp of the fish, I think it could be a really big weight this week.
Yeah.
Could be 55 pound. I would think there might even be 2 or 3 50-pound weights.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are.
Yeah. You'll need, and if you get that flow, even through the allotments, you got to have catch 30 pounds to win your section.
They like the flow, don't they?
They do, and I think it's different this year because flow makes he's like magnifies everything for some reason. Whether it's because they're pumping it different, they're scared shitless of flooding, so they're dropping it really low, and then all of a sudden it's stood, and then it runs like mad for a day and then stood. So I don't know, but I would say the usual suspects will be on the good peg somewhere.
Right, should we get to the chip shopping?
Yeah, so last week, obviously, Ray Malley was the main chip shopping, but this person has sort of wanted a T-shirt last year, but we never give it to him because it's not sort of the point. Whereas this year, he's not been chip shopped, and he's sort of made a bit of a issue that he's not been in. Right. So when he got chip shopped, and the fact that I was about 25 pegs away and could hear him talking to the bloke next to him while I was fishing, says it all, really. So I'm going to put a picture up now. The old Specsaver Moley, Andy Wilding. So you've been chip shopped. Well done, Andrew. No big one-eyed bream or tench to save you.
You still keep going on about that bream, don't you?
So Andy Wilding, you are the chip shop award this week.
We'll get him.
We will, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not. You haven't had a chance to give him his T-shirt then?
Oh no, I haven't seen him. No, he's too busy working. Yeah, he'll be off for about 12 weeks now.
God, it's all right for some minute.
Yeah. Them old school teachers. Hey,
old school teachers. Yeah. Right. I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can't think of anything else.
No.
Good luck, everybody, on Sunday.
Yeah.
Good luck to yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll draw good one.
Yeah, I'm always on the bunghole, me.
You'll be in the allotment somewhere.
You think I'll be that close?
You normally get in there, don't you?
I can tell you exactly where I'm going to be.
Towards the bypass, is that
I will be anywhere from the allotment style to the turning bay every match.
Can you get someone else to draw your peg?
It's irrelevant. I still get there even when someone else draws it.
Get Cheesy to draw it for you.
Yeah.
Right, we'll pull this to a close, shall we?
Yeah.
Right, guys, have a fun time fishing at the weekend, and we'll see you next week with an update of how everybody got on with hopefully some record catches.
We'll see.
See you all later.